Imagine living in a small town where everyone knows your name, your secrets, and your mistakes. Now imagine being a young girl desperate to escape that life only to fall in love that change everything. Today we are talking about Summer by Edith, a short but emotionally heavy novel about desire, freedom, class difference, and painful transition from innocence to reality. At first glance, the title Summer sounds warm and romantic, but trust me, this book is not sunshine and flower. It's intense, tragic, lonely, and surprisingly modern for the novel published in 1970. So let's begin. Summer is often called Edith and more rebellious novel just because it openly discusses female desire and emotional longing, something that was considered shocking during that time period. The story takes place in quite future town called North Dormer in New England. Our main character is Charity Royall, a young woman who feels trapped in her dull life. She dreams of something bigger and exciting, more beautiful than the town she lives in. Then one day, a charming and educated young man named called Louis Harney arrived in town, and Charity's entire world changes. And that's where the emotional chaos begins. Spoiler-free plot review. What I immediately like about this book is how realistic Charity feels. She isn't written like a perfect heroine. She's impulsive, emotional, frustrated, hopeful, and sometimes reckless. You can actually feel how bad she wants freedom. When Henry enters her life, she feels relationship exciting, but he represents everything Charity has never had: education, sophistication, romance, escape. Because the story is told through Charity's emotional perspective, you slowly become attached to her hopes and fantasies. This is Edith's novel, so happiness never stays simple. The book quietly shows how society judges women differently than a man. A man can explore the world freely, a woman's entire future can be destroyed by one decision. And honestly, that message still feels painfully relevant today. Charity is probably one of the most emotionally raw female character and realistic character I have ever read in classic literature. She's angry at her life, at town, at limits placed on her. Beneath all that anger is loneliness. That's what makes her character so tragic and feel real. She doesn't just fall in love with a man, she fell in love with the idea of escape. I think many readers can relate to that feeling, wanting someone to rescue you from your current life. Throughout the novel, Charity keeps searching for identity and belongingness. She wanted to know who am I outside this town? That emotional conflicts become the core of the story. Let's talk about theme: freedom versus society. This is probably the biggest theme in the novel. Charity wants freedom, but society constantly controls women throughout shame and expectation. Town itself almost feels like prison. Everyone watch each other, everyone judge, and reputation matters more than happiness. Female desire. A book written over 100 years ago, Summer feels surprisingly bold. Writer openly writes about attraction, passion, emotional need from a woman's perspective. That was extremely controversial at the time. Instead of portraying Charity as a pure and passive, written allows her to feel desire today, which makes the story feel modern even more. Illusion versus reality. At first, Charity imagined romance as a magic and liability, but reality shows destroy the fantasy. The novel asks, can truly love save someone, or do we sometimes use love to escape ourselves? Honestly, that question stays with you after finishing the book. The writing is beautiful but subtle. Don't expect dramatic twist every 5 minutes. This is the kind of book where emotional grow quietly beneath the surface. The writer uses natural and sensational imaginary brilliance. The heat of summer almost mirrors Charity's emotional intensity and desire. When and the emotional tone change later in a novel. You can literally feel the atmosphere becoming colder and heavier. This book is also very short, around 200 pages depending on the edition. So it's a good entry point if you wanted to start reading classic literature without commuting to a heavy, huge novel. I'll be honest about things I didn't like. The pacing can feel slow sometimes. If you prefer plot heavy books with constant action, this may not work for you. Also, the male character can feel frustrating because he's intentionally written with emotional distance. I actually think that discomfort is part of the point. The relationship isn't supposed to feel perfectly romantic forever like a fairy tale. It surely expose power imbalance, class difference, and emotional selfishness, and that realism makes the story stronger. The final thought of mine about this book is it's a coming of age story mixed with tragedy and social criticism. Summer isn't just a romance novel, it's explore loneliness, desire, class, freedom, and the painful moment where dreams collide with reality. What surprised me most is how modern charities emotionally feel even today, after 100 years. Many readers, especially young women, may connect with her desperation to escape an ordinary life and become more and big. And that's why this novel still matters over a century later. If you enjoy emotional classic, tragic romance, express female desire, complex female character, or a book with dark summer vibe, this is definitely worth reading. So this was my review of Summer by Edith Wharton. Have you read this book? Did you sympathize with Charity or did her choice frustrate you? Let me know in the comment section. Till then, I will meet you with the next book review. Till then, keep reading. Bye.